Pakistan. And yeah, we have 32 investments in Pakistan. Some names you may or may not have come across in the startup side are Daskir, 24/7, and Digicata. These are our investments. In 2025, according to Magnet, we're the fourth most active investor in the MENA region. In global emerging markets, which includes like South America, Africa, MENA, some of South Asia, and Southeast Asia, we are the top 10 investors, number six actually. Okay. And our team is spread pretty much across the globe. We have some of our team and partners in the US, some of our partners are in Asia, in Shanghai, Taipei. We also have a team we actually have a growth manager in Pakistan. We also have people down in Dubai and Riyadh. Okay. For our startups, the total amount we've invested in startup companies is 79 million. The total amount we have helped the companies in our portfolio raised is 888 million. These are the number of startups we have across the region. We started off in East Asia. We moved into Southeast Asia, South Asia, of course, including you guys. And our more recent focus has a lot been in MENA, Sub-Saharan Africa, and Latin America. Okay. We can send you these slides afterwards, but just to give you a quick preview that we are pretty much kind of industry agnostic. We invest in everything from SaaS platforms to marketing tech to fintech and insurance tech, a lot of e-commerce platforms, healthcare. The latest, we have a big focus on sustainability and development, and other areas. We have a little bit in blockchain as well as logistics, prop tech, HR tech, etc. Okay. Some of our portfolio highlights. Okay. BitMEX, a $2.9 billion exit for us. Videoverse, they just had, sorry, for them. Okay. And for Videoverse, they were sold to another company. It was a $270 million exit for them. We have Elsa, who have recently raised a Series C, 23 million. TappyTune also raised a Series A, 30 million. Daskir, you probably know, they're in Pakistan. They raised a Series A for 37 million, and we have Shapal, who also raised 100 million. So some of the highlights from our investments. Okay, so that's just a bit of background on Orbit as a venture capital fund and how we invest. Any questions on Orbit Ventures before I move on to how we help our startups and our actual program? I'm good. Okay, I'll move on. Okay, so a lot of times when we hear venture capital VC, we think about money, we think about fundraising. Okay, we do help our startups do that, but actually that's kind of, to us, not the hardest part. All right, to us, we have the network, we know what we need to do. What we really want to start helping our startups on is from a kind of mentorship angle to help them build and validate their business models, making sure it's a scalable business model with positive unit economics. Okay, then basically you have product services that people are really willing to pay for and pay for again and again. Okay, like the retention. All right, once we build that engine with our founders, okay, then we can talk about strategies for how to grow. Okay, so we begin with making sure the business model, it actually makes sense. There's a market there. Okay, not wasting anybody's time to make sure it's viable, market's viable. Then we talk about, and we work with the startups on how to actually scale and grow the solution. All right, and once you have that,
Kelly, I think you're muted now.
Okay. I wasn't muted for the last, it was just recently, right?
Yeah, I think
Okay, good.
three
Okay, okay.
seconds.
Okay, good, good. I hope I wasn't talking for 10 minutes with and nobody said anything. Okay, cool. So, yeah, we start with mentorship, helping startups with their unit economics, making sure the business model works, people are willing to pay for the solution and come back again and again. Once we validate that, we work on growth tactics through looking at the sales funnel, looking at the product development, looking at how we can use different channels to grow the sales. Okay, once you have sales and you have decent traction, like you have a steady monthly revenue, and you can see that revenue growing, then actually the fundraising part is relatively simple in our minds. All right, there's a certain amount of know-how you need to be able to tap into certain networks, but that's the part we can definitely help you. But what you guys need to, if you're joining the program and you need to do is work with us on the mentorship and growth part. All right, there's quite a lot to do there, and the fundraising part is actually not so hard once you have the numbers. Okay, a little bit more. We help, diving a little deeper. Once you join our program, the very first thing we do is we really help you to try to build an entrepreneurial mindset. Okay, so we invest in founders from all different backgrounds. All right, people who've worked in corporates, people who've graduated. We've invested in more mature founders with multiple startups, people who've spent years in banking and then came out to create startups. Also a little bit from academic and research as well. Okay, but the important thing is, throughout our 10, 12 years of investing, we've come across a lot of entrepreneurs, and we've developed kind of the best practices for entrepreneurs and what an entrepreneur mindset needs to have. Okay, very basic things like being disciplined, professional, holding the team and themselves accountable for the goals they set, really being data driven, being consistent in their approach to sales, to fundraising, to product development, etc. Okay, so we definitely and sorry, being very open to ideas and mentorships. All right, so things like that we work on with the founders from the beginning to ensure they develop some of these good habits. We provide very hands-on support, and we work with our startups, on a regular basis with one-on-ones. On the fundraising side, we definitely help to put together all the materials you need, work with you on things like your financial model, your different pitches. You need a pitch deck, you need a demo day kind of pitch deck, even your elevator pitches. We are quite, we work actually quite a lot on this bit because you only have one chance when you meet an investor, okay, to make an impression. And if you get it wrong or you're not making the best of that opportunity, it's going to be wasted. All right. And some of the things we talked about is helping you on the growth side, how to scale your startups, and a little bit on the BD side, when it makes sense. We do have a lot of corporates and other startups in our ecosystem, and we do try to look for synergies, and help you out with sales where it's appropriate. Okay. So a little bit on the program. Okay, if you join the NIC acceleration program with Orbit, okay. Like I said, we're helping you to develop the habits and the entrepreneur traits that we know investors are looking for. All right, develop a very clear message for investors when they talk to you. Kind of teach you how to engage investors, what tools and communications we can use to garner investor interest. And we believe in actually practicing, and so we'll put you in front of our team, different people from our team, real investors, real VCs, real angels, to test out the way you pitch. Okay, and then with our program, it's about a 4-month program. We will, towards the end, have a exclusive demo day. Okay, just showcasing the startups who are able to join our accelerated program, and this would be in person in Pakistan, and usually in Karachi or Islamabad, and we will invite investors to come and join. Okay, and it's a pretty much an investor-only event. The aim is for you to showcase your startup in front of potential investors. Okay, so this is what roughly the different phases of the program. Okay, most of it is online. Most of the workshops and one-on-one we do, except for the last kind of 1 week, 10 days on the ground in Pakistan. Okay, so phase one is really getting to know all the startups. Okay, onboarding, explaining how we work here, all the different tools we use, setting some goals from the beginning on what you want to achieve by the end of the program, and then introduce you to some of the concepts of fundraising. Phase two, and believe it or not, storytelling is really, really important in fundraising. It is, when we say storytelling, is not about making stuff up, okay? It's actually taking what you have, but putting it in a way where people who don't know anything about your industry can still understand the problem you're trying to solve, what available investment opportunity there is, and be attracted to learn more about your startup. Okay, so storytelling is a really useful tool to engage, investors, but also customers. Okay, and we will spend a lot in starting to look at how we and when we look at, we call it just demo day, pitch, drafting, but actually when we do that, because of the way we do it, we're actually really dissecting out your business, looking at the business model to see all the different elements. What is your customer segments? What are the problems you're really solving, and how to use that to create a convincing story for investors. Okay, and then phase three, once you have that, we do a lot of investor preparation. Okay, and this is both helping you on preparing to pitch, but also actually by that time to make sure that the goals we've set, you're reaching them. We'll set a lot of metrics. We'll look at a lot of what we call growth metrics, okay? And we'll set them in phase one, but by phase two, phase three, we're constantly working on those to make sure you're doing things to increase your funnel, okay? To actually make sure you're getting, you're raising, you're finding the best way to acquire customers, but more importantly to retain them. Okay, and during this phase we'll also work on being investor ready. So when investors talk to you, they want to see certain things. They will do due diligence. They want to see your data room. They want to see your pitch deck. They want to see like product demos. They want to see like case studies. Okay, so all those kind of things we will work with you on. And on the fourth phase is really testing out the ways we pitch and the investor materials in front of like real investors. Okay, we have a lot of our team, our investment team is pretty big, our partners, and also we have a lot of what we call friendly VCs that we work with and share deal flow with. We'll put you in front of those. We'll put you in front of angel investors, okay, to test out, and we can constantly refine the pitch to see what the market is looking for, if it fits the current market appetite. And then that culminates with an in-person demo day in either Karachi or Islamabad, where we'll invite suitable investors to look at your business model and your pitch. Yeah, that's roughly what the program schedule looks like. Okay. I talked a little bit about this. We will get you to do some of these deliverables. Okay, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail with this. I would emphasize that we look at numbers a lot. We're very, very data driven, and we will get you to track metrics from day one. Okay, and we can discuss like things like what are your North Star metrics, what are you focusing on this quarter, what are your KPIs you're setting for yourself and your team. Okay, and a lot of the other stuff I talked about, the investment deck, demo day pitch, also your things like your financial model. Okay, so that's kind of in a very high level, the program content. I want to talk about a little bit just setting expectations and what we need from your side if you join the program. Okay, it's some find it intensive, but what actually it boils down to is we'll have 1 or 2 1 hour group sessions per week. So these are group workshops either to help introduce you to new concepts, get you started to work on certain deliverables, or it's sessions where you're pitching and you're getting feedback on your pitches. Every other week, we're going to have 45-minute one-on-one sessions with the program mentor, which is currently myself. All right. And then also participate in discussions and peer learning through our other group sessions. Okay. You need to allocate some time to work on program deliverables. Okay. And a lot of the times we do find we have to chase startups a lot for that, but be prepared that you need, at least like half a day to a day out of your week where you're actually working on the deliverables. Like, we can't have you just turn up to the group sessions or the one-on-ones but not do anything in between. Okay, we actually need you to work on things in between as well. Okay, and we expect you to be responsive to program communications. We're always like announcing what events are coming up and what you need to deliver, and sometimes due to like speaker availability, etc., there changes, unfortunately, and we need you to be responsive to our communications and let us know what works for each other. Okay, we're quite flexible about time zones and making things work for everybody, so we can move things around. Our team is quite used to working with all time zones around the world, including Latin America, Middle East, Asia, so we can be flexible about that, but we need to know. Okay, I don't want to see people like just not turn up to sessions but not even say why. Okay, that's very frustrating for everybody who spent a lot of time preparing for this. All right. Okay, so that's kind of the commitment we want from you guys. I think one last thing I would add, which I forgot to put in here, is being open to mentorship and new ideas. Okay, but also being respectful at the same time. We try to bring mentors and different people from our team to come work with you to look at your business models. All mentors, advisors, our team, everybody has a different opinion. Okay, and you don't necessarily have to agree with it, but you should treat all of it as data points in a respectful way, and then think about whether that applies to your business or not. That's up to you. Okay, but I think one entrepreneurial trait we do see is people who are constantly trying to learn from other successful entrepreneurs. All right, and here we are. Part of our job is to do that kind of like knowledge transfer, take all the lessons we've learned from all the actually we learn a lot of lessons, not just from the companies that succeed and have exited, but actually there are lots of lessons learned from the failures we've had in our investments as well. Okay, and we hope we can share those lessons with you and hope you can apply them to your startup business, so you can avoid all the kind of hurdles and traps that we've been through, and hopefully be able to create a successful and scalable startup. So that's really what I wanted to go through on my side. So I'll open the floor for you guys to ask any questions, and Syed's team, feel free to fill in as well if you felt I didn't cover something that I should have covered. Tariq, if you're speaking.
Hello, Mr. Kelly. How are you?
Hi, Naveed. Yeah.
How are you? My name is Naveed Sivar. I'm sorry I just missed the first 10 minutes. I was not here. So
Okay.
if I could be asking any question which you have already answered, I'll be sorry for that.
Yeah,
So,
no
Mr.
worries.
Kelly,
Go
what
ahead.
would be the more of this investment? What if we are getting this opportunity for receiving the funds? Are we going to pay them back, or is there going to be a partnership model for sharing the investments and returns? That is what I really want to understand.
Sorry, I didn't quite get the question. What about the investments if you join the program?
Yes, yes. If we are getting the funding from Orbit or from the investors, what is going to be the model of that investment or the funding?
Right. Okay. So just to be clear, nobody gets an investment at the beginning of the program. Okay. We work with the startups through this NIC Accelerator program by Orbit, and at the end of the program, okay, we do select startups to invest in, and the terms will we have pretty standard kind of range, and the check size is between 100K and 50K, all right, and it ranges from, I think it's like something to 5 to 10% equity, okay, through a safe.
5 to 10% equity.
Yeah.
And that investment is going to be staying for how much time with us?
Sorry.
The investment tenure, the investment tenure. What is going to be the investment tenure of the? Are we going to return the investment? What is going to be the complete model
No,
of
no, no.
this
It's like
investment?
when we invest, it's through a safe. We get a certain amount of common shares. So we actually we are in the same position as you as a founder. Okay, so for any investment we make from Orbit, the only way we actually exit is when you have an exit, pretty much. Yeah, like we're not here to
Okay,
like tell you in 2 years' time you need to like find another investor and then buy us out. That's really not how the way we work. Okay. Yeah,
okay,
and we don't
okay.
like take preferentials, so therefore like we're on equal footing with you. Okay. If you're able to get a
Perfect,
good
perfect. That
deal,
sounds
then
good.
we yeah, if you can find a good deal and close a good deal, whether it's like a M&A or obviously if you can IPO, yeah, great. Whatever deal you can get, like we get the whatever 5% of it, right? So yeah, so we're working with you guys. Yeah,
Thank you, Mr. Kali. Thank you for the information.
yeah.
And we'll be getting some document from your side on this, a complete document, so we can
If you,
all the queues
I
get
think the
listed.
first step is to apply to join the program, and if you get accepted,
Okay,
yes, there'll be some contracts to sign. Um, but the investment part comes later. Okay.
okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Thank you,
I
Mr.
mean,
Captain. Thank you
yeah,
very much. Thank you
yeah.
for addressing my questions.
Thank you, Naveed. Participants, can you raise hands before asking the question? That would be great. Thank you. Yes, Faria.
Uh,
Hello, Kelly.
Hi.
I have submitted the first form and then the second form is emailed and it's on Airtable. So what's that?
I think I need the NIC team to answer that because they.
Yes, Faria, you are talking about the incubation form. This session is for acceleration, actually.
Okay, so there's another form for it.
Yeah, I have given the link in the chat also. You can register there.
Yeah,
Okay,
just to be
sir.
clear, all the things I talked about just now are kind of the program after the incubation program. Okay, I know some of you are actually going into the incubation program, so the reason we want to explain the acceleration program is so that you know what are the next steps, and for you to work on the things you need to work on the incubation program, to make yourself in a good position to apply for the acceleration program. Okay, and I just want to explain like what kind of entrepreneurs we're looking for and what we expect from the program, so you can prepare yourself even during the incubation phase.
Are we supposed to have a team or we can be solo?
I To be honest, ideally, most of the investments we make are co-founding teams, at least two people. Okay, and there's good reason for that. It's a running a business is very complex and you require different skills and different networks. Okay, we have seen good solo founders, especially ones who are able to bring in a very good team very quickly. Like there are definitely some very kind of charismatic leaders who are able, after they create the startup, to bring in like a really good kind of salesperson or a very good BD person or CTO, whatever, to complement their own kind of like skill set. But the probability of getting an investment from us, if you are a co-founding team of two, 3 is kind of ideal. Any more than that is also a bit complicated. So for us, like co-founding team of two is definitely more favorable than a solo founder. Okay, and I've worked with a lot of solo founders before, and we've definitely invested in solo founders as well. All right, and if they've come from like they had 3 exits already in previous startups, that's definitely they kind of have more experience that is a high probability that we could invest in a solo founder. But if it's a solo founder who's doing business for the first time, to be honest, that would be quite a bit of a red flag for us, okay? Because we understand how difficult it is to run a startup, and it's very hard for one person doing it for the first time to have all the necessary skills to execute the idea. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, Iram was asking a question in the chat. Can someone directly join the acceleration program without going through the incubation?
I, I, I think NIC can answer that, but I think from my point of view, as long as the founders they have like sufficient traction and the product development is at a certain stage, like more mature startups, I think that's definitely a possibility. And I think we have recruited startups directly from who haven't gone through the incubation program. We've definitely done that.
Hi, Kelly.
Yeah.
Kelly, hi.
Yeah.
Anil here.
Yeah.
So, yes, there are two tracks of startups that get into the acceleration program, and people can join it directly as well. So, within this very cohort, either three startups will come from direct induction, or two, or it is other way around as well, that we can promote three as well. So it has to be five startups. In our previous cohort as well, I think so. Two were promoted and three were inducted from the open call. So yes, that's very much possible. But for those who are, those who haven't applied for the previous rounds, we have to induct 10 startups in the acceleration program. Five of them are promoted and five of them come from open call. But in both cases, startups have to fill the form and they have to submit the deliverables to us. So those are again prerequisites. The reason being, we want them to be at the same playing field, and from there onwards, the Orbit team starts building their capacity. The form was Faria. The form was shared, but Tariq, kindly reshare the form here for her assistance. Thank you.
Yes, I've shared it. Kelly, it would be great if you can give some tips about the pitching, because the startup will be pitching next week. So you can give some pitch advices. Abdul Basit is asking something. Yes, Abdul Basit.
Sorry, for some reason I don't see the chat box on my screen.
Hello, Kelly.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, Abdul, go ahead.
I just want to ask, what's the most specific vertical that Orbit is focusing?
You can. I explained in my previous slides. We're actually quite vertical agnostic, actually. Okay, so you can see from here, we invest in a lot of different areas. Okay, so I can tell you what we don't invest in. We don't invest in hardware. We don't invest in gaming. Okay, or any kind of adult-related content. But other than that, we're pretty open. You can see from here. All right. I think one theme we are looking at quite closely for emerging markets is, digitizing traditional industries, automating traditional industries, because we see a lot of marketplaces, a lot of industries are still using very manual methods for both running their own businesses internally, but also for the whole kind of marketplace and the supply chain. And we invest in a lot of solutions which automate that. We believe that by automating these more manual processes, there's a lot of multiples to gain, like efficiencies to gain, and therefore the startups can grow very fast in that area. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Abdul Basit. Any other question from the participants? Yes, Hassan, please.
First of all, Mary, thank you for the session. It is very good to look at it, and so sorry for that. So the question is, I just want to know that how I can identify that the solution what I'm imposing as an entrepreneur is because I'm at a very beginning stage. So how can I identify that the product or solution what I'm presenting is valuable and effective for the
Yeah,
community?
yeah.
Uh,
I think
Thanks.
at that stage of startup, the most important thing you need to do is talk to your customers or potential customers. Okay, and
Mm,
a lot of people build something and then try to find customers. We believe you should be talking to customers as you build your solution. Okay, every step of the way, and potential customers to get their feedback, to learn about their pain points. It's important to learn about what the problem is they're struggling now without your solution. What's the struggle? Okay, and then using that,
right.
you need to then look at your product to see how it's solving those specific pain points of your target customer. Build like an MVP, build a small solution to test it out in front of these potential customers, see if they want to kind of commit even to using it. I mean, it's not just about whether they pay for it or not, right? At that stage, is there any traction? Are people like using the freemium version, for example? Okay, so it's important to iterate fast and test early. Okay, have like prototypes, MVPs you can test out on customers as early as possible, but have conversations with them and talk to them. That will shape your product into something which is marketable and have like positive unit economics. Okay, if you skip that step, and just spend a lot of time developing in your own house, then the chances of failing is pretty high, I would say. Okay.
Right. Right. Thank you.
All
Thank you.
right. Going to back to, there was a question about pitching, Tariq. Can you let me know what kind of pitch they are doing and what's the audience, what's the purpose of the pitch?
So it's about the acceleration pitching that we will be inviting startups to pitch so that we can shortlist them. So you can give some good advice to them. How can they make their pitch better?
I see. Okay. Yeah, I mean, again, it's the same things. You need to be able to articulate well, okay, the problem you're solving in this world. Why does the world need you? Okay. Articulate why the problem you're solving, and then you need to talk about the potential kind of market size of that problem and people willing to pay for it. Talk about how your solution is solving the problem, but how are you solving it uniquely? Okay, what's the differentiation from your solution and all the solutions out there? All right, and then I think those are the key things. And then talk a little bit about like your team and how it relates to why you are the best team to do it, right? I think, and I don't expect you to have a lot of traction at this stage, so I don't think traffic traction is the most important. But I think articulating well your problem and how your solution solves that problem in a very clear way is something I would really focus on at this stage. Yeah, and market size is at this stage, to be honest, I wouldn't look into that. I mean, most startups will come and say they have like 20 million, 30 million, $100 million market, without like doing research and delving deep into that. I don't think like a lot of us are assessing that in a big way at this stage of joining incubation or acceleration program. But yeah, so I think focus on the problem and solution more, on explaining that clearly, and your differentiation. Sorry. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you, Kelly. Is there any question from the participants? You can raise your hand. I think there are no more questions. So is there anything you want to add? We can conclude the session.
No, I think it's great to see the entrepreneurs in Pakistan, and we're always getting more great entrepreneurs. I really enjoy seeing the enthusiasm, and all the different ideas of helping to solve everyday problems, and I continue to encourage you guys to work on startups. Join the NIC incubation program. NIC team are really helpful. And despite whether you end up joining the acceleration program or not, okay, just being a part of NIC will really help you to open doors, to get like very useful mentorship and feedback, because the NIC team have worked with hundreds of startups and they can really help you. Obviously, if you can join our program as well, that would be great, and we definitely hope to help you to scale your business, help you on the fundraising journey as well. But there are some criteria. We need a certain level of product development and a certain level of traction and the right founders to join the program. But definitely excited to work with more Pakistan entrepreneurs.
Yes, exactly. So I think there's no more question. We can conclude the session. Thank you, Kelly, so much for joining. Thank you, everyone, and have a nice day.
Thank you, Tariq.
Thank you. Thank you. Goodbye.
See you guys. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.